All right. Hello, everybody. This is Austin Halsey, the freshman sophomore counselor at Valley View High School, and this is the College Credit Plus informational video. We're going to be reviewing a lot of the information that we covered at the CCP Parent Information Night, but if you were not able to attend that, this is your way of receiving that counseling. Legally, we have to provide counseling on this. If you are to participate, you have to receive this counseling. So for all the families that couldn't make it, we would then have to schedule individual meetings for. So this is our method of doing that without really messing with your schedule and allowing you to get your information from the comfort of your own home. So if you do have any questions, feel free to email or call Ms. Keating or I. All of our contact information should be able to be found on the school website. And we will happily get back to you with that. So this information is regarding the 19 and 20 school year. So next school year, however, I'll mention this later too, that the CCP year starts in the summer. So technically, when we graduate this class, so I think the end of fourth quarter is on Thursday, May 23rd. And after that, college will be starting up. So keep that in mind. This stuff could be as early as the summer. So some of you are new to the program, some of you are not. What is the College Credit Plus program? It is a dual credit program, which means that anybody who participates, you are going to be taking classes at a college or university. We work with a number of them. There's Sinclair, there's Miami, there's Wright State, there's UD. There's all of these colleges and universities around. And if you take one of their classes, we're saying that we will give you credit on your high school transcript as well. So you take one class and you get a credit for college and a credit for high school. And it is intended for students who are up to the rigor and the challenge of college level education. And I'm going to talk later in the video about what are the differences and what are some things to consider. So let's move on. Who can participate in this? Well, the state allows anybody from grades 7 through 12 who have been determined eligible for the College Credit Plus program to participate. And you can participate at any public college because they participate automatically, and then some private colleges, they also, some of them participate as well. It is possible for you to participate at multiple institutions. If you want to take a little bit of Miami class and you want to take a little bit of Wright State, you can do that. It is a transportation nightmare, so we would recommend that you pick one and you stick with it unless you're doing online schooling, which obviously would negate that burden of transportation. So 7 through 12, and you have to be eligible for the program. Which classes can you take? Technically, you can take pretty much all of them. There are a few exceptions, and I'll cover those. But the thing to know is that you have to be determined eligible per subject matter. So if you want to take a math class and you only scored high in English, you can't do that. You have to take English classes because those are the ones you tested into. And then lastly, you must be an Ohio resident. Some people say College Credit Plus is great because it's free college. Nope, it's not free. People pay for it. Ohio taxpayers pay for it. So you must be an Ohio resident in order to participate. So how does it kind of work? What are the basics of it? Well, every one high school class counts for 3 credit hour courses and vice versa. So if you take 2 3-hour classes in college, we're counting that as 2 high school classes. So because it's a 3-hour class, it doesn't count as like 3 courses or anything like that. And then the no-brainer there at the bottom, you must complete the course and pass to receive credit. Participation is not enough to just give you a credit for high school. So when is this available? Technically, it is available the summer, fall, and spring. Traditionally, we have kids do the fall and spring, but every now and then we have some kids take the summer classes. And another thing is we also offer some of the CCP courses in-house. We have a senior English class that you can take here with our teachers, and it gives you college credit. We got Spanish, we have chemistry, I think we got a psychology. There's options here at the high school for you if you would like to participate. So there's a very real way of participating in CCP and still staying in our building all day. So how do I actually get involved, you may ask? The first thing is to declare your intent to participate, and that has to be done by April 1st. This video is getting out, at the start of February, so you have an entire month to give me that form. Give me or Heather Keating that form. So there's two forms that you're going to look for. One is going to be the intent to participate. The second one is going to actually start the registration process. So that's less important than the first one. The first one has to be in by April 1st. The second form that you might receive is a enrollment paperwork for each college or university. Either way, sign both of them and get them to the counselors. So once you've declared your intent to participate, the next step for you is to be considered eligible. So you have to do so by your assessment scores. What assessments, you may ask? Well, these ones. You could do your ACT or SAT scores if you've taken them and you scored high enough, we can use those and you don't have to do any further testing. If you haven't taken these, you're younger, probably 7 to maybe sophomores haven't taken those tests, then you can take the AccuPlacer to the or the ALEX, and both of those are going to be offered at our school, probably in the cafeteria or the library sometime during the school year. Check your announcements for that. Additionally, there are some other ones. There's PlaceView, MapleSoft. There's those. And you can take those either with us, or you can call up any college or university and ask them where their testing centers are and when they are available. And you very well could just walk into their testing facility and do it at your leisure. So it is important to know that those test scores might qualify you as eligible for the CCP program, but the colleges and universities are going to have different requirements. There is a difference in the level of difficulty by college. So there's, the local, college is going to be very different than like Yale or Harvard. So just because you test eligible for the program does not mean that the college or university gets to accept you. They can be as picky as they want, but the state won't let you participate in the program if you don't have those requirements met by the tests. All right, so again, you have to test college ready or at the college level in each subject matter. And the college universities are going to review your scores and use that to determine eligibility. If you don't score college level, at college level in your subject matter, theoretically there is a different way to go around it. You can have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, or you can get a letter of recommendation. Now, full disclosure, Valley View's policy is that we do not recommend people for college credit program classes if they do not test into it. Reason being is the numbers say that you're not going to be successful in it, and we don't want to set you up for failure and then set you back on your transcript. So we don't do that. Don't ask us for letters of recommendation. It won't happen. And then, so once you've submitted your intent to participate, once you have tested college ready, then you apply to the college or university. They have the final decision, and they all do it differently. So Ms. Keating and I will happily try to help you if you want us to, but we don't know the differences between Miami's, UD's, Wright State's, Sinclair's. They all apply differently. They might have paper copies. They might be online. They might have certain deadlines that you try to hit. So if you've done the first two steps, step 3 is really going to be on your own. You need to contact that college or university and figure out the process for them. So if you are considered eligible and you have been admitted into college or university, the course selection gets kind of tricky. They're going to have to discuss that with you because we don't know all the courses they offer, or which ones are best for you to take for your intended major. Now, something that we can help you out with, the high school counselors can help you out with the Valley View graduation requirements. So keep in mind that just because you're doing CCP does not mean that you don't have to hit all the requirements we have. All schools have different requirements. For example, the state minimum, I think, is 20 credits to graduate. The Valley View requires 22, so you got to hit 22. whether or not you're in the CCP program or not. Additionally, we have like a fine arts requirement that you'll have to hit. So we have to make sure that your CCP courses also meet the Valley View requirements so that we can graduate you from high school. Something new this year, if you're hearing all this information for the second time, this will be new for you. The CCP program has now determined that there are 2 levels of classes. So the colleges will help you figure out what those are, but depending on the number of credit hours that you have taken, you might be eligible to take level 2 classes. So your first 15 credits are going to have to be from level 1 courses. And level 1 courses include transferable courses, courses in IT, computer science, anatomy, physiology, foreign language, anything on the screen that you see there, courses that are part of a tech certificate, and courses that are part of the 15 or the 30 credit pathway, courses in study skills, academics, or career success. All of those are considered level 1 courses. And then they'll let you take on level 2 if you've completed those. So once a student has completed the first 15 credit hours in level 1, he or she then can move to level 2 courses. And all of those classes, I think, legally have to be posted to the college's website. So call them up, ask them to point you in the right direction, and you can see a list of their level 1 courses. So there are some exceptions to the CCP program. There are classes that we can tell you no on. For example, any private courses that are one-on-one. So like if it's like how to play the tuba and you're sitting there with an instructor, with one instructor, we don't do those. Additionally, courses with super high fees, I think a Wright State or a nearby college, they said they had a guy apply to a college course that helped him get his pilot's license, and it was like $20,000 or something like that. And I don't even think he ended up finishing it. But the state, obviously that's not a good financial investment to pay $20,000 for one course for a kid. So we can reject those. Study abroad courses we can reject. We don't let PE be covered by that, since every high school offers that and it's readily available to you. Pass-fail courses we don't do. You have to get a grade for it if you want a CCP course. And then remedial courses and religious courses. Remedial courses are basically you didn't test ready for college, so you're going to take a course at a college to prepare you for the actual college courses. So it's kind of like a stepping stone, a not quite college course. So we don't let you do those. You have to test ready. And then religious courses, because it's public money, we can't sponsor religious courses. All right, so another thing is, how do the grades work on your transcript? Well, if you receive a B in college credit plus English, that's what's going on in your transcript for us. You will get a B for English. Now, we will weight the course differently, but the letter grade does not change. So you might get a B, but it might be weighted as an A, but it'll still say B on your transcript. So if CCP is a method for you to just really kind of boost your GPA, we get it. Just keep in mind that the letter grade doesn't change. It will affect your GPA positively if you score high enough, but the letter grade does not change. Now, what classes are weighted in the CCP program? Are all of them? Well, no, actually. Not all classes at the CCP level are weighted. So if a high school uses a weighted grading scale for an AP, an IB, or an honors course in a subject area, then the CCP courses will also be weighted. But let's take a different example. So let's say you take CCP art. We do not have an honors AP or IB course in art, so that course would not be weighted because no one at our school has the opportunity to achieve a weighted scale on an art class. So keep that in mind if you're looking to boost the GPA and you're taking certain classes. We have to weight them here for them to be weighted there. It's just an equity issue. We have to let kids here have the same opportunities for GPA boosts as kids taking the CCP courses. Another thing to consider is the second point here. You might take a college credit plus course, but you are still required to hit the 7 end of course exams that are governed by Ohio. So we have the ELA ones, the ELA twos, both math ones. There's a biology exam. There's American history and government. So these exams still have to be taken. And college courses do not necessarily focus on the curriculum needed to be successful in those courses. They can kind of go wherever they want with it. So if you know you're going to be taking the sophomore level English course for CCP, keep in mind that ELA 2 is still going to be a test that you're required to take. And you might be better prepared if you take the course with one of the high school teachers, since they're very familiar with it. All right, how much can I participate in with the CCP program? Well, you are going to be eligible to enroll up to 30 semester credit hours per year. So it resets every year, but there is a total of 120 throughout the length of the program. All right, so there's a formula on there. So the number of high school courses you're taking, times that by 3 and subtract it by 30, and that's how many per year you'll have left. And I think the easier way of saying that is to check out this chart. So let's say you want to come to Valley View and take 4 classes, that are here. So you take 4 VVHS classes. That means you have 18 credit hours left um, to take at the college or university of your choice. So technically that's 5 more classes if they're all 3 credit hour classes. Now, some people maybe want to only take summer classes. So let's say you take all 7 courses here during the day. You have a full schedule here. In the summer, you can actually take 2 CCP courses to actually you take 3 to fit the 9 remaining CCP hours left. You don't have to, it's just an option. All right, if by chance you happen to go over 30 credit hours, then we're going to have a conversation. You have the choice of dropping the course, or you can pay for the course yourself. Um, but it's the normal rates. You have to pay for all the books, you have to pay for all the fees, you have to pay for everything. And another consideration is anything over the limit of the 30 credit hours, we do not allow to heavily weight on a GPA. We didn't want to get into the business of people paying for more and more and more classes and then being able to boost their GPA through paying for classes, because that's another equity issue. We want all students to have the same ability to achieve the same thing. All right. So what is the difference between college and university? So this is the section where we kind of consider self-reflection, and we say, is this something that's going to be good for me or not? All right. So in high school, tests maybe you're given weekly or at the end of the chapter, but for the most part, there's a lot of homework. There's a lot of in-class work that kind of allow you to make up those points. However, in college, tests are generally fewer in numbers, and they cover more things, and they matter a lot more to your grade. All right, so study time. Oh, yeah, a word on that. If you're curious if this is going to be good for you, if you pull up your progress book and you pull up a specific class, in the top right, you might be able to organize it by type. So there might be a homework grade, an in-class grade, a test and assessments grade. If you look at that and you see that your tests alone are very low percentages and your grades really being brought up by classwork and homework, then that would be an indication that college is going to be very difficult for you, because they don't care so much about the day-to-day work. They care about what you know at the end of the course. All right, so that might be a good way to check that. All right, study time. All right, traditionally, high school requires homework ranging between 1 and 3 hours per day, sometimes a little bit less. College, the standard rule that we hear from the colleges is that they need to be studying 2 to 3 hours of homework for every hour spent in class. So if you spend, 3 to 5 hours per day in class, depending on your class load, that's a lot of studying. All right, so that might, if the low end, you might be only studying 3 hours. The high end, you might be studying 5 or more hours per day. So that's a lot of studying. So keep that in mind. If you're not someone who studies much and you don't really feel like you got a good grip on how to do it, and you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants during high school, this would not be a good call for you. So parents, consider how much do you see your kids studying and kind of make a determination on that. All right, knowledge acquisition. So how do you get the information? In high school, you have somebody lecturing to you or presenting to you or having projects done to you almost every day in class. Out of class research is relatively minimal unless it's specifically like an essay or something that you might need to collect some sources and stuff for. But even then, you go back to class and then they make sure that you're doing it right. College is very different. Coursework will generally require more independent thinking, longer writing assignments, and out-of-class research. They might say, hey, this week you need to go to the library, you need to find some books on topic A, B, and C, write a paper about it, reference, 2 to 3 sources per paragraph or whatever. And you need to be able to have the wherewithal to run out and go do those things without someone kind of sitting over your shoulder. We kind of already talked about this one, but numerous quizzes, tests, and homework assignments in high school, colleges, you're basically hitting your finals and that's it. All right. Oh, here's what I was referring to earlier. So this might be a normal grade book. All right, I think I've taken out the student name so you can't see it. So if you look overall, this guy has a B minus. That's awesome. B minuses, obviously we want the A plus 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 pluses, but B minus is pretty good. And biology can be a tough class for somebody. But if you look at this on the general and you say, oh, he's got a B minus, that's great. Well, what if we sort it by type? All right, see in the top right over there, I just clicked from date to type. If you look at this, his tests and quizzes, he's got a 51 out of. So on the college side of things, this person would be failing. Now his quiz is 92s or an A, but his tests he got an F on. The average it out, he's probably actually at a C probably. If you just took on those, I don't know for sure. Actually, those are only 7 points. He'd be probably failing or a low D. So there's a big difference between the B minus and the D that he would be receiving if you just looked at tests and quizzes. So that's a good indicator. All right, parental roles. How can you engage with your student? Well, unfortunately, fortunately in high school, we want you to be with us. We want you to be working closely with you. We're emailing you, we're texting you, we're calling you, we're sending you progress book updates, all that stuff. In a college, you get nothing. Parents serve as a mentor and support for the student, but the college views the student as an independent decision maker, and regardless of age. In fact, FERPA, the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, states that you do not have access to any of their records. There's kind of a sad story about that, actually. Somebody called in pretending to be a parent, said they needed to talk to their daughter. If they could tell them what class she was in, and they eventually said yes. And basically, the person caught the girl in the parking lot and ended up killing her. So dreary note there, but they won't let you have access to their grades, where they're at, their schedule, none of that. Now, as a parent, you probably could strong arm your kid and saying, hey, you're logging in, you're showing me your grades, but none of that will come from the college or university. All right, they treat them regardless of age. If they are enrolled in the CCP program, they treat them as legal adults, and their records are not offered to you. A final note about this, what is the difference between high school and college? It's something that we want to be cognizant of as counselors. We understand that you love your kids, you treat them and educate them and raise them up in the way that you want to, and every family has different values. Colleges and universities can go all over the map with subject matter. They can talk about political issues, they can talk about sexuality issues, they can talk about religious issues, they can talk about anything they want, and because their traditional students are normally adults, and so nothing's really off limits. So if you have a younger student, it's going to be a family decision on whether you want to send them into this kind of environment. Your potential 7th grader could be sitting next to a 30-year-old, and the college professor could be talking about anything under the sun. All right, so there is a difference between high school and college on an ethical, family-related way, and I do want you to be aware of that. So the benefits: you get lots of credit, both here and at college. You can kind of get a head start on colleges. I think I know it's unusual, but we did have a girl, I believe, who's going to graduate from Valley View with her bachelor's already because she did so much CCP. So it is a possibility. Also, students get to experience college early, so you can kind of test the waters, see what it's like. And you can also kind of save on tuition and textbook costs because, again, it is paid for through the federal fundings, through taxpayer dollars. So it's not free. Someone pays for it. It's just not you. Um, and students can kind of save money like that. All right. What are the consequences, or what happens if you underperform? All right, if a student fails or withdraws too late from a college course, the district will seek reimbursement for the tuition costs from the student or family. All right, so if you say you want to do it, you commit to it, and then after the deadline of dropping, you decide that you don't like to do it and you want to drop out, you can, but remember we will seek compensation for that if you choose to not follow through with the program. And then also something to consider, the grades that you do earn on CCP, those are going to go on your college transcript, and there isn't a way to undo that. So let's say you want to try it, you don't know if you're ready or not, parents kind of unsure, you decide to go through with it, and then your son or daughter merits a D in their English class. That D is on their college transcript, whether we like it or not, and there's nothing that Miss Keating or I can do about it. So keep in mind that you're going to challenge yourself here, but it's going to have some consequences if you do underperform. All right, if you fail or withdraw too often, like it's happening too much, this year, this is new this year, you actually have the opportunity, in a bad way, to be put on academic probation. So uh, we'll talk about that here in a few slides. And then additionally, there is some financial consequences. All right, if you do not meet satisfactory academic progress, then your FAFSA stuff can kind of go awry too. All right, so here's the probation. All right, this is new. You can be on probation. You can even be dismissed from the program before if you wanted to, you could just keep signing up for it, and then you could keep failing. The state said enough of that. All right, students will be placed on CCP probation if he or she earns a 2.0 GPA or less in a CCP course, or you withdraw from 2 or more courses in an academic term. All right, so if you earn a 2.0 or less, or you withdraw from 2 classes, then you're on probation. Now, probation does not mean you're kicked out of the program. What it means is that if you're on probation, you may only enroll in 1 college credit course for the next term. All right. Also, you may not enroll in the college course in the same subject in which the student previously earned a D or F, or received no credit. All right. So let's say you take algebra 2 or whatever, and you get a D. They're not going to let you move on to calculus because you just didn't do well in math. So you would have to jump into English or history or science or something like that in order to get out of probation and then come back into the math department if you wanted. All right, if a student on CCP probation, so you've already met the previous stuff, does not increase their GPA out of a 2.0, then you're actually going to be dismissed from the program. While on CCP dismissal, the student may not enroll in any College Credit Plus programs. All right, after 1 college term on CCP dismissal, students may submit an appeal to request the high school or middle school to allow participants back into the program. So if you get put on probation, you got to be careful. If you get dismissed from that, you must wait a term and then file for appeals. Each school district has a policy on that, so you'll need to talk to Ms. Keating or I to discuss that. At public colleges and universities, there will be no cost to the students or family who participate in this. At private colleges and universities, there might be a small cost per credit hour that the university decides to charge. So public and private, there is a big difference. If you decide to go to a private college, make sure that you're considering the risks there. All right, books. This is a big rule. All right. So students are required to check our library for books that they need. So let's say you're taking English 111. Guess what? We probably have English 111 books out the wazoo. So we want you to check with our library to make sure that we're not buying a bunch of books that we already have. All right, if you go rogue and you decide to buy a book that we already have, and we can prove that you didn't check with us because we mark who comes and sees us, then we'll actually bill you for that book. We're not going to pay for a book that we already owned that you didn't check on. Additionally, any books that you buy are going to have to come back to Valley View so that we can loan them out to the next group of people. It's ultimately saving us from spending taxpayer money on books over and over and over again. We want to be wise with the finances that we have and make sure that the community is not overspending on this program. So if you fail to follow these procedures, we will ask you for payment of the books. So if you don't give us the books back or you don't check with us, then you're going to be responsible for them financially. All right. Are there any potential expenses that you are going to be responsible for? Yes, actually. If there's parking passes that you want to do or transportation there and back, like gas money, things like that, we do not cover that. So we only cover the educational needs. If you decide to drive to whatever university or college, that's going to be on you guys. All right. What support are we getting? All right. Well, you should have it coming from both ways. The high school counselors, Ms. Keating and I, we will be helping to make sure that your College Credit Plus classes are graduation eligible. We're going to be helping you walk through how does it affect your GPA, your transcript, all that stuff from the high school perspective. However, anything that is college related, what classes they offer, how do you enroll, what are the deadlines that they have, what is the process for applying to that college, that's all of the college stuff. So you're going to have to talk to them about that. And then colleges must provide the same academic support for CCP students as they do for their students. So they should, in theory, grant you access to all the services that they have. So if you need to go to an online writing lab or stop by the university bookstore, all that stuff should be supported for you. All right, athletic eligibility. So now we're getting kind of specific to individual needs, which means we're probably nearing the end here. So student athletes should confirm their school is an Ohio High School Athletic Association member. All right, learn the OSHA requirements, and then know that summer term CCP courses may not be used to bring a student into compliance with the OSHA requirements for interscholastic athletic participation. If you do not merit eligibility for a sport, you can't just take some CCP courses and boost your passing rate up to take it. So summer courses are not used to determine eligibility. Certain general education and technical courses will transfer, especially from one public college to another. The way that we help you out with that is we direct you to the transfercredit.ohio.gov link. It's on the screen right now. If you want to write it down, you can go there, and then you can see which classes will transfer to what universities. So you can make wise decisions on picking the classes in the CCP program that will go to other schools. Um, and we kind of touched on this, so I'll breeze through it. But being college ready is more than just being academically ready. Consider the emotional and social situations that colleges have. Consider time management and organizational skills. Um, Grades earned in College Credit Plus courses are for high school and college and will be calculated in the GPA. So make sure that you understand the permanency of it. And then also there's financial aid, ramifications. So if you're going to be doing your FAFSA and things like that, we got to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself in the future. All right, deadlines, very important. And we're going to highlight this because it's super important. All right, April 1st, 2019, you have to have your intent to participate form. If you are going through the Google form and that's how you found this video, the intent to participate paper will be at the end of that. If you want to use your ACT or SAT scores to get college ready, make sure that you're paying attention to those. And then also pay attention to testing dates and acceptance dates. So you must apply to these universities, so make sure that you're hitting the deadlines that they have. All right, there is additional resources if you do want to explore this further. ODE has their own website, so Ohio highered.org/CCP will give you more information, or feel free to call or email Ms. Keating or I. We can set up a meeting or chat with you on the phone and answer any questions.